This morning I'm on my way up to the castle, presumably by a pathway that works to the right of that mosque, up some streets, and then up through the trees up to the top. We'll see how that works out. Well, after a steep climb, I'm beyond where asphalt is, and I'm now at dirt. But I am above both of these churches here, and just below the castle level. And probably in his 50s, probably with some kind of dementia, enthusiastically pointed me up here, the only route to go, other than bushwhacking through the trees, to the Kala, or fortress. Life is good, no? For the person who lives in this little house, has that chair to view the sunset with. I pan across the city from this vantage point, you can notice the minarets, two to our forward with a tower on the left, and then off in the distance those needle-like spires rise. So I'm almost at the height of the fortress walls. Apparently all that remains, I have a choice here, to use the obvious road up there, or take this route and see where it goes. So we'll go. For a rest on this steep trail. I've got a feeling it takes me high above and to the right of the fortress. I took a side trail in hopes that it would take me laterally over to a ridgeline, since I know I'm getting considerably above and away from the fortress. Unfortunately, it's just taking me deep into the woods and not to any visible outlook that I can see. So I'll go back. I've come back down the hill a ways and gone off to the side and found this old meadow, but with a spectacular view around Prizren. You can see it's not a very large town, which is a good thing, from my viewpoint. Can't see the fortress. It needs to be in there somewhere, maybe down a little bit, but not much. Maybe it's just right behind that tree there. Well, the fortress was pretty much underneath me. I think I'm approaching it from the back side. Relatively nice pathway, which of course I missed by coming down my trail, which ended up coming right down through there, through the fort's temporary toilet. Anyway, here's the back of the fort again. We'll go up to the right. Here we can notice in what probably is an original wall, since it's at the back and nobody cares, although it might not always have been the back indicated by that small road. But here you can see some construction detail. Looks like slots between two vertical stones. Those may be firing ports made out of rock. I mean, raw rock unworked, like we've seen in most forts here in China. Unfortunately, because of no stabilization or rehabilitation, this wall is crumbling at its end. What looks like an original, although it may be restored, exterior and an interior corner. Certainly looks restored. Probably an original entranceway into the fort, at least from this side. See, it's a vaulted ceiling. Pretty gnarly condition, so I won't try going down there. This has probably all been restored. He's almost too big. There's that enclosed soccer field and restaurant beyond it. So I would have walked around this way to from the left up to there, and then up across that bridge up to that parking area and back down, just orientate. And where my climb was this morning was somewhere up on top of that knoll. Yeah, I'm standing on the middle probably of the south side of the fort. Notice how all these structures are made out of rough stone. natural stone rather than the brick that we've often seen, the orange squares. There, I would imagine, is the southeast corner. And now I'll just pan around so we have some orientation. And behind that mound is where I first saw the fort and climbed up to it. Again, as we've seen at other forts, Ottoman forts, those vaulted ceilings usually represented rooms built into the interior side of a fortress exterior wall. Whether that northern mound is solid man-made or was a rock outcropping that they then built onto, I can't tell. It looks like those archways to the left go in deeper than the ones to the right, though, at least from here. Here, a large vaulted area that probably progressed back this way somewhere. It appeared to be at a juncture with this one here. Unless they're parallel, they may be parallel, but not quite, I don't think. And that there we can see, though, running perpendicular to these are two smaller archways, which might have been inside of two bigger ones that are running parallel with the two that I'm next to. In this area I'm standing on, again, may have been a natural outcropping to some degree, but it just looks like it was built up as perhaps a large, thick primary wall with buildings shooting off of either side. Here, a vault with a curious pedal placed dead center in the middle of it for some reason. Flowers this time of year add a great deal to old ruins. Notice the magnificent mountains in the background. Whether they're in Serbia, I don't know. Some spectacular peaks. And here, beyond the fort, still a bowl up there. It might be a cirque with snow in it. Thistles are pretty, even though we've learned to despise them in the West, as is the stalk of pretty yellow flowers. It looks like this little arch is right across from this little arch, and they're repeated in all of these arches, so you wonder what that was for. Were they deeper and you could actually walk through them, or were there some other purpose? I'm guessing that we're at the edge of the fort wall, but that's strange why these arched vaults would come right to that edge. Now here inside this vault, it looks like there's at least one, maybe two, looks like, and here maybe a third, although this one's doubtful. Also on the other side is this ledge. Was that for sitting, or don't know. Here's a close-up of this rock and cement. Whether that's a reconstruct or was the way they built it, I don't know. Always fun to watch them do their thing. It looks like these vaults were purposely ended at a existing wall. So this whole southern part, or correction, yeah, southern part, the big part we walked by first. This may be totally man-constructed, and for some reason that's where these vaults ended, but you can see that they came out quite a ways, and who knows how far they did come out. All that's left are rubble. He's got what looks like a snub-nosed face, snout, and a snub-nosed tail. Here's some fragments of interior walls. He's making the sound of rushing water. My guess is that underneath here is some kind of waterway bringing water from up above, and somehow it needs air to vent. Even more of the sound of rushing water coming through those ports.